Good Shabbos, everybody. This week's Parsha is that of Matos and Masei. In Parshas Matos, we have the tribes of Gad and Reuven, who approach Moshe Rabbeinu and say that they have been blessed with much cattle and the land on the east bank of the Jordan River. This land is very fertile and suitable for cattle. And they specify the various cities that were conquered, in which they mention Ataros and Divan and Yazah. They mention the names of these cities and these counties that they're requesting. And then they continue and they say, these cities, the land that God defeated our enemies before the congregation of Israel, this land we are requesting for our cattle. The question is, why did they have to itemize and enumerate each one of the cities if they're then going to just give a general statement and say the land that God conquered, the land of Sichon and Og, the Amorites, that God conquered? That would have been sufficient. Why do they have to specify? And then Moshe Rabbeinu says to them, are you suggesting that you want to stay here and settle this land, and your brothers will go to war while you're settling here? This is exactly what happened by the previous generation. When we were about to enter the land of Israel and the spies came with a very discouraging report, and they broke the hearts of Klal Yisrael, and therefore we lost our strength and our faith and did not want to go into the land of Israel. And now you are coming and you're taking their place. If you're going to say, you know what, we're going to settle here, and the rest of Klal Yisrael, you can go into the land of Israel, you fight the wars. What message are you sending? You're sending a message that you are concerned that you don't want to go fight a war. And we should go fight the war while you're settling here peacefully. You're going to discourage Klal Yisrael. They're going to think that perhaps you're afraid and that God won't be with you. You'll break their hearts. You'll discourage them. You will destroy their spirits. That is exactly the sin of the spies. What were Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven thinking? How could they possibly assume that let Klal Yisrael go to war, and who knows how long the war will take? We know the wars took 7 years, and we'll stay here. What were they thinking? In addition, Moshe says, shall your brothers, yovayu lemilchama, shall they go to the war? He doesn't say, shall they fight the war? He says, shall they go to the war? The Orach Chaim says that's very strange language. He should have said, shall they Yelochem, shall your brothers fight the war? Shall they fight the battles while you're settled here peacefully, quietly, and securely? The language of they will go to the war is very strange. Upon hearing this, the children of Gad and Reuven, they say to Moshe Rabbeinu, we hear we've made a mistake. We will be the vanguards. We will go before Klal Yisrael. We will fight and lead them in the battle in Israel. Let us have this land here. Let us fortify the land for our children and for our wives and families, for our cattle. And we, the soldiers, we will lead the rest of Klal Yisrael in battle. When Moshe Rabbeinu agrees and presents this to Yehoshua and to Elazar and the leaders of the tribes, the children of Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven, they make the statement, Nachnu navo chalutzim lifnei Hashem. We will go as vanguards, as the leaders before God in battle. The word Nachnu is a very strange word. Nachnu means we. But that's not the normal way of saying we in Hebrew. The word should have been anachnu. Like we say in Olenu, Va'anachnu koirim u'mushtachivim, we prostrate and bow before Hashem. Anachnu. What is the word nachnu? Yes, it has the same translation, but it's very unique and it's rarely used. What exactly were Klal Yisrael? What were they trying to convey, the children of Gad and Reuven, by using this expression? The Or Chaim explains that the Bnei Gad and the Bnei Reuven, when they came to Moshe Rabbeinu, they understood what they were suggesting. We'll stay here in peace and security. Let Klal Yisrael go, and the battles will be fought there. Their process of thought was that this land, where we are right now in the plains of Moab, on the east bank of the Jordan River, how did we come to possess this land? These are the cities that we are requesting for. They are very suitable for our cattle. How did we come to conquer these lands? It was miraculous. It was the land Asher Hiko Hashem Lifnei Adas Yisrael. We had no casualties, nothing. This was the land that God conquered before the congregation of Israel. It was all God. What did we do? We went to the battle. We had to go, we had to put in an effort, but it was all God. And therefore we're saying, if God is going to fight our battles, then what's the difference if all 12 tribes will go to fight in the land of Israel? Or if 2 tribes will stay here and you'll have 10 tribes go and fight? We're not the victors. We're not the ones who are the conquering army. It's Hashem. If Hashem fought our battles here, he'll fight our battles there. That's what they were thinking. That's what they meant by specifying, in addition to the cities, this is the land that Hashem conquered. And he'll conquer the land of Israel too. So why can't we stay here? We're not going to discourage anyone. And to that, Moshe said, you're making a mistake. Because all these incredible miracles that Hashem has performed for us, the miracles and the defeat of Sichon and Og, that's because all of Klal Yisrael was together. We all went to battle together. Yes, you're right. Hashem fought the battles, but all of Klal Yisrael went together. We were one unit, one entity. You think of the miracles in Egypt, the plagues, all of Klal Yisrael was together. All of the incredible miracles, the splitting of the sea, the mud falling from heaven, the clouds of glory, the well of Miriam, it was because all of Klal Yisrael was together. Moshe was saying, the minute there's division, the minute you say, let us stay here, let the other tribes go, there'll be 10 tribes, and they will be devout, and they will be dedicated unto Hashem. There's no question. But to assume that God is going to perform miracles when Klal Yisrael is not in unity, that's a mistake. That will be sending a message which will cause them to lose hope. Why don't you come with us? If Hashem is fighting our battles, why don't you come with us? What is your concern? Well, we'll stay here and Hashem will take care of you. If Klal Yisrael is not together, then we cannot be guaranteed that Hashem is going to perform these miracles. This is what Moshe responded. That's why Moshe said, shall your brothers go to battle? He didn't say fight the battle, because indeed the children of Gad and Reuben were right. God fought our battles. But we must all together as one harmonious entity go together. All of Klal Yisrael, all the tribes, go together. Then Hashem will be with us. When the Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven heard this, they said, indeed, Nachnu na'avor. We will go and we will lead Klal Yisrael in battle. Why did they say the word Nachnu? The Baal HaTurim points out that we find this word elsewhere in the 5 books. When Yosef became viceroy of Egypt and there was a terrible famine, Yaakov sent his sons, his 10 sons. Binyamin remained with Yaakov. Yaakov sent his 10 sons down to Egypt to purchase food. And knowing they were going to Egypt, they resolved that they would do anything and everything within their power to find their brother Yosef, who was sold into slavery to Egypt, and they would spend any amount of money to redeem him. When they came to Egypt, they had no inkling, they had no idea that Yosef, who was sold as a slave, would be the viceroy, the most powerful, influential man in the entire Egyptian empire other than the Pharaoh. And now that they came, they were being interrogated by this viceroy. Who are you? Where do you come from? What is your mission here? And they responded and said, Nachnu b'nei ish echad kulanu. Nachnu, not anachnu, but nachnu. We are all the sons of one man. We are all the children of Yaakov. What did they mean by saying nachnu as opposed to anachnu? Not just we collectively, but we are a singular unit with one focus, one goal, one purpose, one mission. They told the viceroy, our mission is to bring back food and sustenance for our families. But in their mind, their mission was to find their brother Yosef and to reunite the 12 tribes. What is this word nachnu suggesting? Not just we, but we as one entity, one body, functioning in total harmony with one purpose, one goal, and one mission. That's what the children of Gad and Reuven were saying. We accept the criticism of Moshe Rabbeinu. We realize that Hashem will fight our battles when all of Klal Yisrael are together, and therefore we will lead them in battle. But don't think that when we agree to lead in battle, it means we'll do so begrudgingly, belligerently, because we really want to be back here with our families, our children, our wives, our cattle. And okay, we have to do it, we'll do it. No, we accept Moshe Rabbeinu's criticism. We accept his teaching willingly and lovingly. And we will go lead in battle as one harmonious entity, one unit, one heart, one soul, all 12 tribes together. And we will do so lifnei Hashem, before God. We will go not before the children of Israel. We will go as one entity before our Creator, before Hashem. And then we know that Hashem will fight our battles and deliver our enemies into our hands. This is what the Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven were saying. This portion of Matos always falls during the period of the 3 weeks between the fast of Shavos B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. And we know that Tisha B'Av is when the first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, and centuries later, the second temple was destroyed by the Romans. And one of the great tragic sins that brought about the vulnerability of Klal Yisrael, that we should lose the divine presence amongst us by virtue of God's temple, was that there was sinus chinam, there was unwarranted animosity. There was a lack of unity, harmony. There was a lack of feeling this brotherhood, that we are one, that this is not just another person who identifies as a Jew. It's part of me. It's an extension of me. This is what the message of the Bnei Gad and the Bnei Reuven. Shall your brothers, are they going to go to battle and you stay here? We're one element, we're one entity. And when we feel that and sense that, Hashem will be there for us, and there will be no obstacles that can prevent us from achieving the success and happiness that we desire. This is the message of Parshas Matos, especially now during this period of time. Oh, but you might say, but there are so many Jews and we're so diverse. That's true. But that doesn't mean that we should love anyone any less. Just because they might not observe the way we do, just because they might not be familiar with Torah and mitzvahs, it doesn't make them any less Jewish. I've said so many times in the Torah, it doesn't mention Orthodox, conservative, reform. There are no such things. These are just made up terms by man. Person is a Jew, and that's my brother, and that's my sister, and that's me. It's who I am, and I'm connected. Yes, we'll disagree. We can disagree. There's room for disagreement, but that should not diminish the love and the affection and the desire to share my home and share my table with Jews of any and every background. This is the element of achdus, unity, that brings about the shalom, the peace that Hashem loves. May we be able to find within our hearts the true love that exists for each and every Jew, and it begins with loving ourselves. Stay safe, and stay healthy, and stay Jewish. Have a wonderful Shabbat.